Real talk about time management, dreams, and making meaningful promises to yourself. It's coming up next. As we continue to transition seasons and discuss the importance of quality supplements, I wanted to share a special offer from my favorite supplement company, Seeking Health. You can get 10% off your entire order at Seeking Health by going to the link at my website, natalietysdal.com/favorites. It's a great opportunity to try their high-end quality products and experience the benefits for yourself. Seeking Health offers a wide range of supplements designed to support your body's natural processes. Whether you're looking to optimize your digestion, boost your energy, or improve your mental clarity, they have something for everyone. One of the things I love about Seeking Health is their commitment to quality. Their products are GMO-free, backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee, and formulated with pure, scientifically backed ingredients. My family uses them. Remember, Seeking Health supplements are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any diseases. They're designed to support your body's natural healing processes. So if you're ready to take your health to the next level, be sure to check out natalietysdal.com/favorites. Let's embrace prevention, support our well-being, and maximize our body's healing potential. Welcome back to the Natalie Tysdal podcast. In today's episode, I'm really excited to have Lauren Zander as my guest. Lauren is renowned for her expertise in setting goals, and she's here to share very valuable insights and tangible strategies to help all of us better manage our time and our lives. We're going to dig deep into the common struggles many of us face, like feeling constantly pressed for time, dealing with inner guilt. Also, I want to tell you what I loved most about this interview. Lauren shares her tried and tested methods for managing time effectively. And you're going to see what we mean by that. It includes making and keeping promises to ourselves and also setting up consequences. Have you ever done that? To just be sure that you follow through on those goals that you set. Whether you're looking to improve your time management, maybe achieve your dreams, or simply find a better balance in life, this episode is packed with practical tips and thought-provoking ideas. Be sure you subscribe to the podcast, as I have some great guests lined up for you, and sign up for my newsletter with more tips and insight into my guests. Also, ways to find more fulfillment in your life. All right, let's not waste any time. Let's get started with my guest today, Lauren Zander. Lauren, so glad to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Time. I want to talk about time. We never have enough. I'm trying to carve more out every day, and I've not been successful with it.
Okay, so I have been teaching people, first of all, time is the backdrop of your whole life, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're literally telling me that time is your problem, and I'm like, huh? What do you mean time's your problem? You mean your whole, like you're not managing yourself the way you wish you would?
I think that's
what does that mean?
You know,
okay.
I'm going to tell you this, though. You've got so much great advice. I don't know if I'm like a lot of people. I do better. This is going to sound terrible. I do better in chaos. It's like, I think that's why I think I manage my time well, but I think I put myself up to these deadlines because I know if I have a deadline, I'm going to do something and I'm going to do it pretty well. And so I overfill my time, and then I wonder why I don't have enough. Am I an anomaly, or am I like everybody else?
You're a type. Like that's a type. But it's, if you still at the end of the day don't respect what you did with your time or how you fulfilled on your day, mm-hmm. right? I teach a variety of ways of dealing with time. So first of all, I teach one concept that I think people really need to get is that time has an exponential quality to it. Like if you keep thinking about when are you going to work out today, mm-hmm. then how much time did you waste thinking about working out today versus you're going to the gym at 5?
Right.
Okay. So planning is the way not to drive yourself crazy, okay. Right? It's like, so I manage how we talk to ourselves in our minds and how much we create our own anxiety or chaos or whatever you're saying you like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I tend to not believe that until you've tried it the other way, right? And really understood the luxury of managing your time beautifully. So you respect yourself and you design it in accordance with your dream life, like what you want life to look like.
Let's take steps back then. So part of my issue, by the way, I think I am an anomaly, but I also worked in a chaotic news world where my life revolved around clocks and time for 28 years.
Yes.
And so I found comfort in that, like, hurry up, give me a deadline. I can do it, you know?
Yeah.
So now redesigning this and planning, it's like, oh, I can actually plan out my day and have pockets of unpressured time. But we tend to go back to the thing we learned or the thing that we were comfortable in. So I think that's why I find comfort in some of that chaos.
I think that sounds right.
Probably.
I think that sounds right.
Okay. So let's talk about designing this and
Yes.
and creating and planning. What does that look for? What does that look
Okay.
like?
So I teach that if there's anything you're not doing and you pretend to yourself or you guilt yourself like you wish you were doing it and you self-loathe, like you beat yourself up, like why aren't you doing it? And so first of all, I have a nickname for that voice, right? So you have a lower self, you have a highest lower self.
Okay.
Your highest lower self. So usually it's your highest lower self that's yelling at you. Like you should be a better person. You should do it right. Like, so there's this, so your lower self is don't get out of bed. And your highest lower self is like, if you don't do it later today, you suck, right? You're never gonna, right? Like it yells at you and it pretends it's like some form of a god or your higher self. Okay. And all of that is your inner dialogue, guilting you and being mean to you. And that has nothing to do with you fulfilling on your life. It never will. And I have bad news. Those voices aren't really going to go away without you managing them. Okay. So for all you people who are like, my head's driving me crazy and I can't get to the gym, right? Or I don't get to the gym. Now you're getting close to what do I do, right?
Yeah.
So what I care about most is people's dreams. And so wanting to be thin is not a dream. Wanting to get a new job is not a dream, right? Like it actually has to be a juicy dream. So the only way you're going to work toward a goal is if you actually care.
Oh, so true. Yeah.
Okay. And most people can yell at themselves as if that's a form of caring, except you just make yourself feel bad as if tomorrow you might be better. Yeah. Or like it keeps hope alive. So
explain that. When you say you're not going to work towards it unless it's a dream and it's a juicy dream. So
yes.
You want to feel better. You want a new job. Those are aspirations maybe, but what does the dream look like?
The dream would be, what do you really want? Like, so what happens with people that I find is because they won't demand of themselves to see what they really want, and they keep that part a little vague, like you haven't articulated very clearly the positive side of why you want that new job. What's the new job for? What do you want to do? Like if you don't spell it out and mean it and believe, then you can face if you believe you can have it. Like, do you really believe you can have it? Can you have it? Do you think you can have it? Right. So there's an emotional, like, blame time so that you don't have to push through how much do you mean what you want and what do you think you really want? And if it's a body, if it's a lover, if it's a better relationship with your kids, if it's a new job, if it's more money, you really need to know that. And if you're blaming time, you really don't know your dream. It just means like everything fills in and it's okay. I'm just calling it out. Okay.
So, I mean, how easy is it to just go, I just don't have time. Like it's so easy to blame that. But
it's the most popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hang it up on that.
Yeah.
So and it's true.
It's absolutely
seemingly true. You're definitely doing something else.
You're doing something with the 24 hours.
Definitely.
So if we're digging deeper and we're saying you have to be able to dream this, believe it, feel it, all of that. It sounds like that's where we need to go. How
That's
do we
right.
get there? How do we spell that out so that it means enough that we make the time?
Okay, so it has to be juicy, just like you use the word juicy. What is it that you want? And literally get a person, like sit down, lady or man or anyone, and just write why you want the thing you want and what you think it'll make you feel and what's so valuable about it, right? Even if it's your body, if it's money, if it's a job, if it's a vacation, write it up and tell me why you need it and want it. And really make sure like you're moved to tears at how badly it means something to you. You can't dial it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Like there really is the right answer. Quit smoking. Like, oh, that's the right answer. Lose weight. Oh, that's the right answer. Right. But if you don't really want to, it's not going to happen. And you're going to blame some fascinating thing. Right?
So
like,
if
what?
someone is, they're thinking, I want to do this. I've never done this. And they're sitting down, say it's a journal, and let's give an example. I want to lose 50 pounds.
Yes.
Saying. It can't just be write the goal. It is, I want to go on vacation and feel comfortable in my beach attire, and I see myself doing this, and my hair is blowing in the wind and the white. Like, is that what you mean? Like you see and you visualize exactly what it is that you want and why you want it?
Yep.
And it's pages of visualizing this, I'm hearing.
No, it's one real dream that you would tell anyone, right? You would like wrote a dream, you mean it, you feel it. It's not like it's not fake. It's like humans, over 80% of our thoughts, over 80% of our thoughts are negative. Like we're mean to ourselves, we're negative, it can't turn out. Like everything you're saying in your head is, if you actually had to like slow down every thought and go, is that a minus, a zero, or a plus? Like neutral? Is that a neutral thought? Or was that a plus thought? You would find out that barely any of your thoughts are like, yay, you rock, you're beautiful, you're fabulous, go get them, girl, right? Like you would be embarrassed to find out how much we are shitty to ourselves all the time. And so when I ask a person, what's your dream? I'm asking you to actually sit down and positively care about yourself and tell me why it matters to you. And because we can be prolific about what sucks and why we don't want something. But it takes something to be prolific about why we do want something. And that gets us actually invested in it. And you actually have to get your heart involved, right? It can't just be a head sport. It has to be the heart and the head, like the head's working for the heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really expected I was going to talk to you and you were going to give me like tips for time management. Do this and then write this and put it in your calendar. Like, I really thought we were going to like budget our time, and yet you can't even get there. So maybe we can talk about some of those, but you can't get there if it doesn't mean something.
The reason you're blaming time for whatever you're blaming time for is not a time management problem. Now, there really are people who stay doing other things and don't commit to doing something, right? Like I want to get dressed in the morning, or I don't want to wear my pajamas till 3 p.m. And but why do you want to do any of the things you want to do?
Yeah. Is
really a person designing their life and planning for themselves. So I need a person to care to their core about what they want in their lives. And then time can become your bitch, right? Yeah. Then it fits into time.
Yeah.
Right. And then being good at time is keeping promises. Like you actually, one of the things I teach is what I even was able to trademark it and, was personal integrity. Your ability to keep a promise to yourself. Everyone's very good at keeping promises to everyone else. Okay, maybe not very good. Decent, right? Like fit yourself on that scale. But when it comes to you said you want to do something for yourself, that's where everyone lies, right? And you'll do it tomorrow or you're last on your list, especially for women. Nothing personal, ladies. We are over givers and under expectors of ourselves to get what we want for ourselves.
Yeah. How do we change that?
You pick an area of your life and you get serious about it, even if it's fun and adventure, right? I have 12 different areas of life, fun and adventure. Like for our workaholics, they need to put in play for real. Like, you know, like arts, like take up painting. Like, what are you going to do? I make people make promises for themselves.
And
right.
And fulfill them though. I mean,
I do it. I have a trick. I do have a trick, but you have to be willing to do the trick. Right. So I teach promises and consequences. Right. I'm not kidding. So your consequence. So for example, this is a real one of mine is, I don't get my coffee till I've meditated.
Okay.
If you understood how much I need my coffee and love my coffee, you'd understand that meditation is like an absolute must get that done so I can have my cup of coffee. Right? So I use my vice, which is my coffee, to make it happen. I literally was, coaching a group today, class that I'm teaching, and it was like everyone has to pick their consequence. Right. So that they keep their promise and they take it seriously. And most people just throw sugar, right? Like they're like, I don't get dessert. I don't get my sugar till I have kept that promise.
Yeah.
So it really works. And then you have to tell someone.
You have to tell someone.
You have to tell someone.
Oh my gosh, you have to tell someone. This one's a hard one for me because I'm like, if I don't tell anyone, I can get away with it. No one will know. I give in. This is so good. The consequence thing, if you're really good about it, I like to say I'm like, this is a silly one, but it's like, I forget to take my dumb vitamins. Like, I can't, for me, have coffee or I can't go until I take those vitamins. And, it's so silly, but yet it's a thing that I don't know why I blow it off. So I'm good.
You have to put a note. I have a note. Right? Like you don't get to get away with it. You have to actually look at the note and go, I'm going to be a jerk. Right? Like I'm going to look at my own promise and go, right? I'm going to be 10 years old again about this. Right. So I make fun of myself. I put the note up and I mean it.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I don't get the coffee, right, but you have to really want to meditate, right? Like you have to want to take your vitamins. And if it's really serious for you, you'll put in the consequence and the sticky, right? So you don't cheat.
Yeah.
All right.
What are the most common things? I mean, for me, I'm probably like most women. It's exercising, just getting the walk, getting the gym, whatever, even just the walk. Eating healthy. Are we all the same? Are we all kind of just chasing the same thing?
I think some people, like if you're in a marriage, you could stand a sex promise or fun promise, like depending on kids and all that, like the amount of people that need to be making sure they're keeping their love alive is a very serious, like don't let life get boring. Right? Don't make Netflix your sole freedom, right? Like get off TV and like, what are you doing for fun?
Okay, well, let's go there for a minute because it's so, I was just having this conversation with my teenage son of if you are watching a video, YouTube, anything like that, and we were discussing how that gives you like that dopamine hit, and it's so easy to go, oh, and if that's where you're using all of that good dopamine in that place, it's easy to get stuck in that and let that be your and we're seeing more and more of that.
We do not do like long-term gratification is like what gets you to go to a good college, what gets you to get a harder job, what gets you to focus on all the things that take time and effort, like that body, losing the 50 pounds. Anything good in life takes work. not work like it, go to like learn how to enjoy going to the gym, right? Learn how to make sure you don't get screen time, right? And that you have to figure out something else, right? But all of this, I end up putting in promises for everything, including with my children, right? So they need promises. So, because we all would prefer the cookie over the apple, right? In many cases. And so you know, how many cookies do you get? And then how many apples do you get? Right? And then the more you design it yourself and then learn to keep a promise, the more you like yourself.
That's so good. It's true. Yeah. And same goes then if it's Netflix or whatever that little device is. Like, well, sure, you can watch an hour of Netflix, or you could watch 20 minutes and then have your walk or it's that promise. So
I'm like, don't get your Netflix till after you walk.
There you go. Yeah. And then limit it, right?
Have a bedtime.
Yeah. So these promises.
Yes.
Are there lists of them? Is it one? Is it you choose until you master it, move on to another one? Or what does that look like?
What happens in the Handel method, what I teach is I have a person, there's 12 areas of life. You're working on 3 areas, 12, like I have a person actually write out all 12 dreams. Okay. And then each of the dreams, even if just writing a dream and what you want in that area of your life, you'd be amazed. Giving your mind and your subconscious telling it what it wants starts to make the world move differently and the way you look at the world differently. So just even thinking about your dreams and writing them down or talking about them has a property of change. Then under each dream is one good promise, right? So, and you just start. You're like, okay, I'll only eat sugar on the weekends, or I'll only do this. Like, so you start to make a promise per area you really want to see the change. And you don't do it alone. You do it with someone who will hold you accountable, right? Like someone who, like, don't do it alone. Don't do it in your head, and don't pretend you're going to get it done in there, because it doesn't really work. Yeah. So you need a buddy and some promises, right? And then it's the best, right? And then whenever you start to see results, it makes a person so happy that it goes to the next one and the next one. It creates a momentum.
Yeah, just like anything, you start feeling the goodness from working out. You're like, you get the dopamine from that. Like, this feels good. You keep going. Mm-hmm. Well, it's great. This is great. Again, I thought we were going to talk calendars. And maybe we were going to be like,
I actually can talk about more time. If you would like me to talk about time, I really do have a management system for how to manage time better.
Okay. So you're doing this first. Do the work. Like, really have your dreams. I love that.
Yes.
But now let's organize our time.
Yes. So first of all, you have your predictable excuses. So you need to also know how you get off the hook for any promise you make. I always have to take care of my kids first. I always have to, what is the main thing that you use to not do whatever the promise is? So you have to know your excuses before you make the promise. So so you really do. And then you go, okay, well, given how it really is, what promise can I keep in this area of my life? And then you book the time, and it really does work. So you use that same child. You're like, okay, I have to work out 3 days a week, or no sugar, no TV, no nothing unless I've done my workout. And then this is when I'm planning it. And you put it in your calendar, and you tell everyone, you tell the person, you do it, and then you deal with it. Basically, you'll find out if you start making excuses, right? You either kept the promise or you didn't. And then you'll see what it's like to deal with the voice in your head and really to keep the promise, right? And so you just have to start, guys. Like, it's really that. And so how you manage time is you really do set the alarm, go at 3:00 and tell everyone and block it out on the calendar, and everyone in your life knows. And it's not a surprise to anyone. Everyone, right? Don't anyone. And so most people haven't told everybody. or didn't get the support they needed. So it's not just you wrote it into your calendar, it's everyone knows and you're protecting it and it's important to you. And you have a buddy who's holding you accountable to it.
And asking how to go. And it's not if I can fit it in at the end of my work day, because the other work will always get in the way. Everybody else's needs will always be there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I used to have to pay people if I was ever late, because I could always be like, one more minute, right? Talking to a client or like, and I would just and I was traveling in New York, like going to see clients. And the rule was, is if I was even a minute late, the person got a $20 bill.
Oh man.
Right.
That's harsh.
Right. And then if I ever gave them 2 20s, like it ever happened twice, it went up to $50.
Oh, Lauren.
Right. It was great.
Because you made the promise to yourself. You weren't late.
And I told them. So then it made me extra manage in a beautiful way. And it was actually very fun, right? Like, because it was self-imposed design.
Yeah.
So
where did this come from? Where did you come up with all of this? I know you've been doing this for years. You've helped celebrities. We didn't even talk about that. Like celebrities and CEOs. And where did this all come from? Where did you learn this and design it?
Well, I was an environmental studies major. I was. I got my BS in environmental studies. I really was, for a very long time, save the trees, kill the people. I was enlightened, right? I was like, it's the people, they're ruining my planet, right? And then I had the next revelation, which was, the trees are going to, like, it's the people that are having a problem, and we're going to be the ones that are gone, right? Like, we're like the trees will come back, like things will work out, right? But you and the human race is definitely having a problem. So I started literally studied environmental science and then went after self-help by the time I was 23. I'm 54 now. And so I started chasing seminar companies and anything I could. And then when I was 28 years old, I went out on my own, and there were no such thing as a life coach, but I called myself a life coach and started just caring about people, caring about themselves more. And I really got my first clients and then started the company 5 years later. So I just was a pioneer. And I'm a pain in the ass. And you're very
real. Like that's, we can sugarcoat and give people all kinds of tips, but if you don't have the basis and the dream, and that, like you said when we started, if you don't really care enough, who's making you do it?
Yeah, no one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. But really so I went into, my favorite thing was going into universities and getting, 19-year-olds to write their dreams out. And then I went into high schools and did it. And then I did it in companies, the company was different because that was a lot of different work that I would do with people, but it still comes back to what are you doing here? How are you fulfilling on your life? Yeah. This is it, guys. So I invented all of the things I teach, and I did it while I was on the court, flipping out. How do I get you to keep this promise? Right? You need to, right? Yeah. Would you? Right. Call me tomorrow and tell me you did it. Right. So it started from one-on-one.
Yeah. That's just great. I love it. Okay, give people tips on or idea of where they can find you. I know you're on social media, and then I want to have you back, and I want to talk about life transitions, because I made a big one, and I know that's something you help people with. So we'll do that another time. But
that sounds wonderful.
And learn more about what you do.
So I am Lauren Handel Zander, and my company is the Handel Group, and you can find the main course that I teach for, and basically what I do is called Inner You, but it's the word inner.you.coach. So inneryou.coach.
Fantastic. Lauren, thanks so much for taking the time today. I know it means a lot to me, and I'm just appreciative of your advice.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.